loading part. Yeah. So mappings are the ones, or mappings is a tool through which we can transfer the data from landing table to staging table. Yeah. So while transferring data, it could happen either straight through, which means direct pass through without any cleanse, or other is what? Through cleanse functions. In case if you want to apply any cleansing, then we use cleansing, or else no cleanse required over here. Yeah? So that is what will happen with respect to cleanse functions. Yeah? Similarly, same procedure will be repeated for other mappings where you have landing, staging, and here there is a simple what is called cleanse function, which is a parse date, through which date will be parsed based on this particular format, which means y, 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 y. Yeah? So we get the date and convert that to this particular format and get it mapped to the staging table. This is a second staging table. Yeah? There is one more staging, which is legacy billing address, which means we have the data legacy billing with cleanse, where we have concatenation plus cleanse address, which means address validation. So billing address will be validated by using this particular cleanse function. So this, from where we got this, when we integrate third party quality tool, then only you will get that. By default, this MDM hub will not have that option. Can you see here? This is what we need to do. Which means what? How are we going to cleanse, or how are we going to validate address? Yeah, to do that, there is a integration capability of MDM hub with address doctor. So which means to do that, we need to supply library name, URI, service name, and port number. Once you supply that, you will get address doctor functionality available as part of this. Can you see here? This is a one which is going to take n number of input parameters, and where you will have what is called n number of output parameters. So which means when you try to use this particular cleanse function, it is going to use that particular service which we integrated with our address doctor. Clear? So that's where this mapping is going to help us. Can you see here? We have what this cleanse address, which is going to take 5 input parameters, and it is going to what is called transfer or populate data to n number of out parameters based on different input parameters, and then map them to appropriate ports within this staging table. Simple terms, we get, let us say, address. We need to see whether that address is okay or not. To do that, we have this particular cleanse function. So that will be used in order to take care of this address verification. That's the one thing which you can see as part of one of the staging table, which is legacy billing address, right? And then what else we have? We have what we call legacy shipping address and SFA address. There are two more. So which means you will see here SFA, which one is that? SFA address. Yeah. So this is one more. Again here also we are using this plunge address, which will be used to verify the address and transfer that to what is called staging table. This is the third one. One DNB source system address, second legacy billing address that we discussed just now, and third is SFA address. Clear? Which means we are trying to get address data from 3 source systems, and there is one more which we call electronic address or whatever legacy for shipping. This is one more. So what we call, this is shipping address, this is a billing address. So and one more thing is DNB address, and then fourth is what? SFA. These are the 4 staging tables that we are going to use, what we call, or that we are going to get it from 4 source systems. Where do you see that? When you look at this, any staging table, by getting into schema manager tool, where we can see what we call source system. This is what is grayed out thing, right? This is a source system. One is DNB, and second is what I call legacy, and third is again legacy. Only thing is, one is a shipping address, other is a billing address, and fourth is what? SFA source system data. So we have 3 source systems but 4 staging tables. From one source system we are getting what? Billing address and shipping address. So though it's the same source system, we have 2 staging tables. So which means we are obtaining the address data from 4 or 3 source systems. Then once we do that, what I call, we have already, let's say, built mappings through which you will have the data onto the staging tables. Remember, yeah? So that is what you will see as part of this. Yeah? Once we do that, which means staging table 1, staging table 2, staging table 3, staging table 4. Yeah? So which means in order to populate data to these 4 staging tables, we have what? Mappings, right? So that is what we have seen as part of this for each address based staging tables or address based mappings. So that's what we have discussed as part of staging, different plunge functions. I'm just talking about real time based what I call mappings, because so far if you look at this, the mappings of what we built, they are all based on what I call simple mappings with what I call the available plunge functions we have done. This is what one project where we are trying to focus on address based object table. It means how are we going to get the address data from different source systems and get the data populated onto the address based object table. So that's where we have 3 source systems, one DNB, legacy, SFA, and we have what I call 4 mappings through which we have transferred data from landing to staging. So that's what we have discussed now. Yeah. So now how are we going to what I call load the data? So which means till staging it is done, which means we have the data onto the DNB address, legacy for billing and shipping, and SFA. So we have the data onto the 4 staging tables. Once we do that, next step is going to be what? What are we trying to do here? To generate golden record, right? Yes or no? Which means get the data from multiple source systems, belongs to what I call address, and start what I call identifying what I call the duplicate address data belongs to one customer, and start what I call formation of golden record. To get there, first we need to get the data from all the source systems. So which means all the staging tables we need to do. So that's where what I call we have a load job through which we can load the data from multiple staging tables to what I call single base object table, which means address base object table would contain data from these four staging tables. How? When you run this particular load jobs, then only we can populate data to the address base object table. Yeah? So that's what happens with respect to what we call loading these. Yeah? So which means simple terms, whatever the staging operation that we have done, right? Now we need to make that staged data should be available in base object table. That's all. So which means whatever we have in the staging table, we are trying to transfer that staging table data to a base object table, which we call loading layer or load process. Both are same. Now, which means when you say load or when you say load job for DNB address, then what happens? Data from this particular DNB address staging table to base object table will be loaded. That's what will happen here. Yeah? So before that, what we will do is we will try to delete the complete data of what we have in the what we call address base object table, so that we can load the data from all the staging tables to or one staging table to a base object table. Yeah? So that's what need to be discussed now. Yeah? Fine. So let us try to delete the address base object table data so that we can start loading the data from multiple staging tables to single address base object table. Yeah? Let us start doing that. Yeah? So let's log on to what we call this ORS database, like what we have selected to log on to this hub console, right? So which is what? Sample database, SAP sample, and then password is default password, which is exclamatory CMX exclamatory. Once we do that, we can look at the count of records of what we have in this particular base object table, or else we can use this SQL developer, which is more user friendly, what I call UI tool for Oracle database. Any questions so far, Aditya and Damodar?
No, sir.
Okay.
So this section has been recorded, or?
Yeah, I'm just recording it. So I'll just upload this to some site so that you can download. Aditya?
Okay, okay.
What, Damodar?
This
No, we recorded 2 or 3 sessions before.
Yeah, they are, I think, staging layer and learning layer, right, Damodar?
Yeah, I think we did it in our system, and we just I'm asking where it is.
Yeah, I think you can also do that. Let me make you as organizer. Only thing is a group, right? There'll be a problem. So everyone will ask, right? That will create a big problem for me.
Oh, okay.
So in group, normal I
No,
don't
no, we
have
only
access for
record
this.
like we'll only record when we both are here.
What, Damodar? When
We
you
will
guys
only
are there,
record.
then it's fine. If others are
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah. If others
So
are there, then we don't do that.
yeah, I don't normally give it. Okay, now we can record. Think for one
Yeah,
of
I
you
got it.
gave, right? Damodar name.
Yeah, you gave me.
You got Aditya?
Sorry, I got it.
Or Damodar? I don't know who is using with the
No,
Damodar
no, I
name.
got. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, you can
I got it.
start, Aditya. Yeah. Now let us try to delete the data of what we have in address base object table. Yeah, I'm trying to delete all the different tables data so that we can start from scratch. Yeah. So
Okay.
which means we need to delete the data from base object table, which is C address, and corresponding class ref table and match table, and also a strip table where you will have tokenized data. So which means address base object table will have what I call the complete data from the sources, and class ref you'll have address data plus source systems data in case if we have any changes with respect to source systems. Yeah, then you will have new entry which will be added as part of class ref table, which means we use cross reference or xref table in order to what we call keep track of from which source system the record has come from. Yeah? And then match table that would contain what we call matching records. Yeah? And now we are deleting it because we are going with from the scratch, which means load the data, after that get into matching and merging, then delete from strip table, which means what where the strip table contains what is called tokenization data. I'll talk about what is meant by tokenization when we talk about matching layer. So now if you go and look at the data in address table, now it will be what I call empty because we deleted, right? Yeah, now it is 0 rows, right? We don't have any rows within this what we call base object table. Yeah. So once we know this, then the next step is what? We need to make the data available in the base object table. How do you do that? To do that, we can start running load jobs, which means from staging table, which is DNB address staging table, to address base object table, we need to load. To do that, we run the load job for each staging table. Let us run that so that data will be transferred from DNB address staging table to address base object table. Yep. Now execute batch. Yep. So that data will be loaded from here to address base object table. Yep. Yeah, it's running now.
Yeah.
Refresh. Yeah, now it is done. So we have, this is the one, right? Just now we executed. So this is a time, which is a wrong time, date, August 2011, 12:41 or whatever. Yeah? Where you will see what the status of this particular load job is, what successful, right? So that's what you will see here, right? Which is successful. Yeah. Now the next is what we can see all the statistics over here. Yeah. Let's understand those. First is what total records. So in this particular DNB address staging table, we have 913 rows, and those rows will be loaded onto the address base object table. Out of them, 913 rows have been inserted. Yeah, I repeat, 913 rows have been inserted. So because it's the initial load, right? Because what we did was we deleted the complete data in the base object table so that we can understand from a scratch. So this is what we call initial data load from staging table to base object table. So simple insert operation would take place when you load the data at the first time. No? Now the next is what other metric is what updated, which is in case if there is a change in data, then this would come in. Which one? This particular updated field, which means when you run the next time, then update is going to play a key role, or else update is not going to have any impact over here. Remember, no? Update is going to help us only when you load the data from next time onwards, not from the first time. Remember. So that's what you will see as part of this. You know. Now, once we understand this, then the next step is going to be what? We need to talk about other metric, which is no action. Assuming that you are going to transfer the complete data from what I call or same data, you want to execute it again. In that case, what happens? All the rows of what we are going to what I call transfer, right? You will have what I call no action that is going to take place, because the reason is what? You will have what I call already rows with the same information. So in that case, there is no need to what I call run this particular what you call load job again. So it doesn't make sense. So that is why we have what I call no action. Yeah, we'll run and see. And next other metric is what? Updated cross reference, which means what? In case if we have, let us say you loaded the data first time, that you got it from where? You got it from one source system, let us say. Now once we do that, next step is going to be what? How are we going to what I call take care of such what I call source system modifications? That is going to be the key challenging task. So in order to take care of such changes, we use what we call this updated cross reference, remember, yeah, which means we don't use cross reference, yeah, unless what I call there is a change, yeah. If there is a change, then we are going to use what I call, or we are going to update data to the cross reference table, which is updated cross reference, remember. And after that we can talk about yes, the question was, do you have cross reference tables for every base object table? Answer is yes, Aditya. For every base object table you will have corresponding what I call cross reference table, remember, which means whenever we create base object table, this cross reference table will be created automatically, Aditya. So that's what will happen with respect to this cross reference. Now tokenization, I'll just define it, but anyway I'll talk about that in detail. So tokenization is the process of splitting the input data into multiple what I call substrings. Yeah. So which means how are we going to split input data to the multiple substrings? That is where we use what we call this records tokenized, which means how many records which are tokenized. In case if you have enabled this base object, which means as part of this base object of what? In case if you want to execute or generate tokens on load, if you enable this, then only what I call you will see the metric value which is records tokenized, that will be what I call updated, or else no. By default we don't execute tokenization process during load. We do that by default as part of next layer, which we call matching layer. Yeah. Now other metric is what? How many records which are going to get contributed in order to what I call formation of golden records. So which means what? How many records from cross reference which are participated or contributed while forming a golden record. Yeah? And then finally we have missing lookup or invalid row ID object records, which means what? While loading the data from, let's say, staging table to, let's say, DNB address to address base object table, what we do here is we can apply what we call lookup. Yeah. So which means, let us say for today's business you want to load only what I call one country data, sorry, let us say one state data within one country. Let's say if we take India country, AP state data need to be loaded onto the base object table. In case if we get data from other states, then what do we need to do? We should not load such records. Those records of what we call missing lookup or invalid row ID object records. Yeah? So such things also will be taken care as part of what we call load job with a lookup. Yeah? In case if you have configured lookup, then only we could able to see this metric value what we call updated, or else no. So if you go and look at the lookup concept, right, we can look at this data model where you will see like how this lookup would look like, which means simple. It is just what I call relationship between what I call two tables, which means based on primary key or foreign key. That's what you will see as part of this what I call schema viewer, which is a data model. Can you see here? Here you have, if you pick up any base object table, let us say, where do you have? Yeah, let's say we have party base object table, yeah, which will have what I call lookup with different lookup tables, namely LU gender, LU name prefix, LU generation suffix. So that's what you will see with respect to relationship of this party base object table with other base object tables, which we call lookup tables. Remember, yeah. So which means we are going to use this what I call lookup tables for what? In order to, while loading the data from staging tables to party base object table, from staging table we are going to check this lookup table data and see staging table data is going to get matched with the what I call lookup tables. If yes, data will be loaded onto the party. If no, then you will see this metric, which is missing lookup or invalid row ID object records, will be populated. So that's what we have with respect to what I call lookup concept within this loading layer. Yeah? So that's what we have, right? Similarly, we can load the data from other staging tables. Yeah? So that's what I'm going to show now. Yeah? So let it get executed. Yeah, let us refresh this. Yeah, it is done. Where we have 154 rows total. All of them have been inserted onto the base object table. Now if you go and look at here, you will have what? 913 plus 154. So that will be the total count within this base object table. Can you see here? 1067, which means what? 913 plus 154, which is equal to 1067. So likewise, we can load the data from multiple staging tables to single base object table, which means now what we did was we have used two what we call staging tables through which we loaded data onto the base object table. 1 minute.